Right, here we go. On today's episode, we are going to bring in a little Kim Scott from Radical Candor. We're also going to be bringing in Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson, we're going to be bringing him in a little bit. We're going to hear from him. We're going to be talking about the truth today. Right? We're going to be talking about the truth, but we're going to talk about it in a really, really, really radical way. So I am super excited that you are here with me today as we kick off this new series called Radical Candor. And I promise you, you're going to take so much away from today's episode, but I'll leave that up to you to decide. But ultimately, I'm excited about it, and my hope is that you are too.
Good morning, and welcome to Hashtag Rise and Grind, the number one show in the world filled with motivation, education, and inspiration. I am your host, Glenn Lundy, husband to one, father to eight, and the founder of the 800% Club, the club designed to help you unlock your full potential. Each episode is filled with celebrity interviews, inspiring conversations, and the strategies you need to get ahead in your career and your life. So grab your pen and turn up the volume, because it's time to rise and grind. Grab your pen. It's time.
Now there's sounds everywhere. It's crazy. Hey, good morning. Good morning. How are you, my friend? Dude, my name is Glenn Lundy. I am a husband to one and a father to eight. That's right, I got 8 babies. I am also the author of The Morning 5 Simple Steps to an Extraordinary Life. And recently, I've been voted the number 1 speaker in America. That's right, the number 1 speaker in America. And today is Taco Tuesday. Today is Taco Tuesday. Love me some Tuesdays. I don't know about you, but Tuesdays are where it's at. Today is Taco Tuesday, June 6th, 2023. I almost said 2025 for some reason. Where did that come from? Today is Tuesday, June 6th, 2023. And what's crazy is today is the very first and the very last time it will ever be Tuesday, June 6th, 2023. So I want to make sure we make the absolute most, and I do mean the absolute most, of this absolutely incredible day. Do me a huge favor, if you would, tag a friend over there on Facebook. I see you guys starting to pour in. Help them find this space this morning. And then also over on Clubhouse, if you could, go ahead and hit that share button. We'll share this out. We got a little bit of a late start this morning. Had some audio issues, which I'm still hearing a little bit of. We'll have to get with Michael Cirillo, and hopefully he can come through and get us all fixed up. But if you would, do me a huge favor, tag some friends that you know are part of the Rise and Grind community. Let them know that we are here this morning. So listen, Radical Candor. Radical Candor. The place where caring deeply and personally and challenging directly connect. This is a profound concept that shatters any doubts or misconceptions around accountability and the honest truth. And ultimately, the ability for accountability and the honest truth, which I guess is a double something, right? Because honest and truth, I'm guessing they're probably about the same things, right? But accountability and the honest truth have this ability to not only help you gain respect, but more importantly, to make other people better. You see, I've always heard it worded this way. To be kind is to be clear, right? To be kind is to be clear. And the way it was taught to me is, and if you are going to err on one side or the other, let's err on the side of clear, right? Let's always err on the side of clear. It's the proverbial everyone wants to know the truth themselves, and yet we're afraid to tell other people the truth, right? Like we want the feedback. I want to know my areas of growth, development, and opportunity. I want to know if I'm failing you in some way or another, if there's a way that I can serve you better, right? I want to know those things. I want to know the truth. And yet, for some reason, we don't give other people that same luxury. We're afraid to dish out the truth, right? And you're probably thinking right now, you're like, yeah, right, Glenn, whatever. I tell people the truth. I'm an honest person. I'm super kind. I'm clear with people. That's probably what you're thinking, right? But yet, when we see somebody with a downed zipper, whether or not we tell them about that downed zipper really determines on how strong the relationship we have with them is. When it comes to that peekaboo moment for them, we would rather allow someone to have that peekaboo moment with the zipper down than to tell them the truth. Same thing can be true or said for bad breath, right? Somebody's got bad breath. I can't tell you how many times I've had people come to me. I've had people come to me and they're like, man, we got somebody in our ranks with bad breath, bro. Like, what do we do? How are we supposed to approach this? I can't stand it anymore. I'm like, dude, tell them they got bad breath, man. Maybe they don't know. Maybe they got an infection or something. They need to get to the dentist. I don't know. But when it comes to situations like this, right? We want people to tell us the truth. Always. That's what we want, right? We want areas of growth, development, and opportunity. But when it comes to telling other people the truth, we struggle. From the zipper moments to bad breath, or even to something as simple as somebody having something in their teeth, depending on a relationship with them, we may or may not say anything. Like, it's crazy. Around the world, people would rather allow others to walk around in a less than state. We would rather allow others to walk around in a less than state or otherwise embarrassing state than to tell them the truth. But why? Like, why is that? And how do we break through that? You see, that and more are what we're going to talk about this week as we examine our #Rise and Grind book of the month called Radical Candor by an amazing woman by the name of Kim Scott. All right. But first, before we get into all that, you know what we got to do on this show? You know, we got to do some dancing. We got to do some dancing on this show. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is the part of the show where we're going to get these bodies in motion. Listen, an object in motion tends to stay in motion. An object at rest tends to stay at rest. So I need you to get moving this morning. You ready? Can you feel it? I need it too, because we had a little off start. We had a little off start this morning, so we got to shake that off real quick. Get it moving, get it grooving. Listen to a little Tony with the keys, #Rise and Grind. I can just imagine it right now. I just imagine it. Just drop it in the comments. If you're dancing right now, drop it in the comments. I want to see it. Drop it in the comments over there on Clubhouse. Drop it in the comments over there on Facebook. If you're dancing right now, let me know that you're dancing, because I have this image of people all around the world moving, man. It's like shaking the axis of the earth. Like people over in London dancing, people over in Egypt dancing, people in the United States dancing from one state over all the way from California to New York City and everywhere in between. People up in Canada dancing, people over in Kenya and Uganda dancing, right? Just have this image, man. It's beautiful. It's beautiful to me. It gives me incredible energy. So let me know, drop it in the comments if you're dancing right now, wherever it is you are. I see over on Clubhouse, Dora Maria is dancing this morning. Monica Ricci is dancing as well. Pastor Jeff is in the building. Sheila Santini, I'm glad you're here this morning. This is also the part of the show where I want you to say good morning to me, and I'm going to say good morning to you. Whether you're watching live or you're watching on replay, say what's up, I'll say what's up back. Jacqueline Underwood is dancing this morning. Great to see you. Bella, what's up, Bella Biz? Great to see you this morning. Stephanie Toadvine is in the building dancing. She sent me another video of my wife with a chicken. If you didn't watch yesterday, you have no idea what I'm talking about. Renee Hayes, great to see you this morning. Robin Price, William Bush is in the building. Russell Hill says he's moving. He didn't say he's dancing, but he said he's moving, so we'll give him that. Kimberly Watkins is in the building. Vicki Everett, good morning. I see Renee's all the way over in Colorado doing her dancing over there. I love that. Marianne Upson says good morning. She's dancing this morning. Crystal Tramick, thanks for being here with us over on Clubhouse. I appreciate you. I also see the regulars, right? The Scott Simons, the TM Hymans, the Stephen Coons. Ade is in the building. Dr. Tangi. I see Dora Maria, Christina, and Angeline. I see Kate Bowman and Fiona are up in here this morning. Janelle Griego, what up? What up, Janelle? Melvin Rodriguez is up in here as well. Valerie Oakley says she's shoulder shrugging. She's doing a little shoulder struggle like that. Sonia Merritt is in the building. Rodney Hatfield, Kelly DeJoy, Tom Popelka, Shelly Jeans in the building as well. Lyndon Gray, Jim Tursky, great to see you. Vicky Smith, what up, Vicky Smith? I'm glad you're here. Rick Tamburino, golly, we got all kinds of folks up in here this morning dancing all around the world. ECMD, Crystal, I see you, Crystal, getting it down, girl. I see Crystal's getting it down over there. Look at that. Jackie and Eli, we've got Gail and Dr. Emerald, we've got Babs, and we've got Jafar and Paul and Mignon, and we've got Peter and Derek and Mike and Jennifer and Luis, and Chima is in the building, and Apostle and Chris and Michelle and Patricia and Allison and Peter. Oh my goodness.
Uniquely made. God of the universe.
What a jam. Thanks for joining me here this morning on hashtag Rise and Grind, the #1 morning show in the world. And I got to tell you, part of the reason we're able to do this show, that I'm able to do this show every single day, I've dedicated 1,216 episodes as of today, with some help from my co-host Heather Parody and some others that have hopped in a time or two. A big reason we're able to do this show is I have a training and consulting company in the automotive space called the 800% Elite Automotive Club. And that is where we make our cheddar, right? And that is where we make our cheddar, serving car dealers all around North America. And something we did recently that was pretty cool is we decided to take all of my clients. We've got over 200 dealerships across the country that we have the opportunity to work with and serve, including a couple up in Canada. And what we did is we created a website where we pulled together all of those dealerships, all of their inventory, so all the cars that they have, new cars, used cars, cheap cars, more expensive cars, whatever kind of cars you're looking for, and we put them all on one site so that our Rise and Grind community can shop from my clients that are 800% Club clients. So you know that you have that connection already, right? You're connected through me, and so you've got a friend in the car business. So if you are in the market for a new or used vehicle of any kind, anywhere in North America, go to shop.800eliteauto.com. That's shop.800eliteauto.com, and you can literally shop vehicles like my buddy John Paul Guidry, who's on here watching the show right now. You can shop his vehicles down in Louisiana. Scott Simons, who's also watching the show right now, you can shop his vehicles over there in Richmond, Virginia, or Stanton, Virginia, right? So you've got a friend in the car business. That guy is me. If you're in the market, go to shop.800eliteauto.com and go get yourself a car. Fair enough?
want to help you have better relationships at work and do the best work of your lives.
One of the biggest problems is that people don't give each other enough impromptu, in-person feedback. Praise can feel patronizing, and criticism can feel downright mean.
Often when people give feedback, they're not as clear or helpful as they intend to be.
And so we developed a framework called Radical Candor to help you build a culture of good feedback.
Nobody starts out their career thinking, I don't give a damn about people, so I'm going to be a great boss. And yet, when we're about 18, we get told to be professional. And too often, this gets translated as leave your humanity, the very best part of yourself, at home.
When you're 18 months old, just about the time you're learning to talk, your parents teach you, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. But now, as a manager, it's your job to say it.
Radical candor is just caring personally and challenging directly. And yet it's really hard. In order to do it well, you have to undo training that's been instilled in you since you were 18 years old and 18 months old.
We've made it easier for you to give radically candid feedback by being really clear about what happens when you don't. And everyone's got stories like that.
And I just didn't like the guy. And so finally, he was in the middle of another disquisition about how much we should give up. And I banged the table and I said, dude, shut up. You just talk too frickin' much. So the effect was the CEO who I was mentoring couldn't look me in the eye. I'd potentially torpedoed his company. The person we were negotiating with was deeply offended and left the room. The meeting blew up.
At the request of our bosses, Peter and I get into a room and we start to apologize. I go first. I apologize and I don't mean it. Worse, Peter knows I don't mean it. And just to keep it nice and ridiculous, I know Peter knows that I don't mean it. And so there we are, insincerely apologizing and insincerely accepting these insincere apologies. What the hell is the matter with us?
But then this interesting thing starts happening. She would come to me all the time saying, oh, I'm so frustrated about our boss. He wants this and that, and I don't think it's the right direction. I disagree with him totally. And I would empathize with her. I'd say, oh, I know he can be frustrating sometimes. And the interesting thing was on the other side, my boss was doing the same thing. He was coming to me complaining about my friend. I would empathize with him, but I, again, would never challenge him. And the reality of this is I became this shuttle diplomat, going from one to the other, listening to what they had to say, but never telling them, you know what, just go talk to each other. Get me out of the middle of this. Eventually, we had to fire my friend.
And I'm standing there with my heart in my throat, and this man standing next to me at the red light says, I can see you really love that dog. That was all he had to do to move up on the care personally axis. Just a few words. I looked at him and nodded, and he said, but you're gonna kill that dog if you don't teach it to sit. Now he had my full attention. And then he just points at the sidewalk in this sort of harsh gesture, and he says, sit! Belvedere sat. I didn't even know she knew how to do that. I sort of looked at the man in amazement, and he says, it's not mean, it's clear. The light changed, he walked off, leaving me with words to live by.
Radical candor really means say what you think.
Just say what you think.
Say what you think.
Just say it. Just say it.
All right, so let's define these words real quick so we know exactly what we're talking about, all right? The word radical is defined as especially of change or action, relating to or affecting the fundamental nature of something, far-reaching or thorough. Radical also means advocating or based on through a complete political or social change, representing or supporting an extreme or progressive section of political party. All right, so we're not going to go down the political party path. We're going to go down the relating to or affecting the fundamental nature of something, far-reaching or thorough. That's the definition of radical. Now, when we go to the definition of candor, it's this: the quality of being open and honest in expression and frankness. All right, now we're going to do something a little bit unique today. So if you are in Clubhouse, you might want to click the link and come join us over on Facebook so that you can see this. If you are on Facebook, then obviously you can see we're gonna work through this together right here on the vibe board, all right? So here's how this works, all right? Radical Candor, you've got a grid, you've got 4 quadrants, all right? So we're gonna draw our quadrants like this. We've got our lines that go across, okay? Up here at the top, this is care personally, okay? This is the level of care. We care for this person personally, right? At a high level. Then here we're gonna go challenge directly. Okay? So care, up here at the top, the higher level of care, this is less level of care. The higher amount that we challenge directly, this is less challenging directly. Okay? Now, radical candor exists right here. So this is our radical candor. Okay? So radical candor is where we care personally and deeply, like a high level of care for the person, okay? And therefore, we challenge them directly. All right, that's what that looks like. Now, there's 3 other quadrants on this board. So we have to focus in on these 3 other quadrants, all right? The 3 other quadrants have a negative outcome. If I don't care, right? I don't care and I don't challenge, okay? Then we're gonna have, hold on, let me make sure I give this to you the right way. Actually, I'll just do it this way, okay? So if I care, let's start here. If I care, but I don't challenge, we end up in this place called ruinous empathy. Okay? So this means I care about you a lot, right? I care about you, but I'm not telling you the truth. And so this becomes ruinous empathy. So empathy is the care that I had for you. And the reason it's ruinous is because I'm not telling you any areas of growth, development, or opportunity. I'm not telling you what you can work on. I'm not telling you how you can get better. I'm not telling you the truth. Therefore, it's ruinous, and it's ruinous because it leads you, or it keeps you, I should say, in a state of ignorance. This is what that creates for you. When I care about you, but I don't challenge you, it leaves you in an ignorant space. You don't know what you're doing wrong or doing right? It's not always a negative thing. You don't know if I don't tell you. So you're now in a state of ignorance. I've created ignorance for you because I care about you, but I won't challenge you. And therefore, since you're in an ignorant state, ruinous empathy, there's no change. You won't change. Nothing changes for you. You stay right where you are, right? We don't want that. It's not what we want. We all want to change. We want to evolve. We want to grow, right? So if I care about you but I don't challenge you, I'm leaving you in an ignorant state and you're not going to change. That's not fair. Now, let's look over in this quadrant over here, okay? If I don't care about you and I don't challenge you, right? I don't care about you and I don't challenge you, but I'm still trying to get something from you, right? As a boss, as a leader, in a relationship, whatever it is. If I don't care about you and I don't challenge you, then this becomes what they call manipulative insincerity. That's a hard word for me to spell. Hold on. Hold on, I gotta erase that. I'm embarrassing myself now with my spelling. Here we go. Okay, manipulative. Come on, baby. There we go. I should spell it right. There we go. Sincerity. Okay. Manipulative insincerity, right? So basically, I'm gonna lie to you. I'm going to I'm going to oversell, like David Meltzer would say. I'm going to lie to you. I'm going to oversell. I'm going to back end sell. I'm going to tell you whatever, right? Because I don't care about you, and I'm definitely not. I don't care enough to challenge you. So in other words, I'm just going to basically lie to you to manipulate you. I'm going to tell you things that are insincere, that are not true, right? I'm going to do all that, and what that's going to do is that's going to lead you to a space of mistrust. Right? You're not going to trust me. You're going to know if I'm manipulating you, if I don't care, if I'm saying things but they're not sincere. You're going to know, right? And so it leads you to a place of mistrust. You now mistrust me, and guess what happens when you don't trust me? No change. Here we are again. Here we are again. If you don't trust me, right? If you don't trust me, because I'm just manipulating, I don't care enough about you, and I'm not challenging you, then there's no change for you, which I don't know about you, but my desire in this life is bring people together, equip them with the tools they need to succeed, and inspire them to be great, right? I want to make an impact, a positive impact in other people's lives. My guess is you do too, right? If you want to make an impact in other people's lives, go ahead and drop that in the chat right now. Just put the word impact, impact, impact. I want to see it, right? Go ahead and drop the word impact. My guess is you want to do that. Well, if nobody's changing, we're not making an impact. If you don't care enough about people and you don't challenge people, then there is no change. So now we have this quadrant over here, okay? Now this quadrant over here is where we challenge people directly. Some of y'all are really good at this. We challenge people directly, right? But we don't care. We don't care about them personally. We'll challenge them. We'll tell them everything they're doing wrong. But we don't care about them personally. And when we do that, here's what's happened. Here's what we get. We call that, I'll get this out of the way. We call that obnoxious. Okay? Obnoxious aggression. I'm trying to spell these words right, just so y'all know. All right? So we call that obnoxious aggression. That's where you're like telling people everything they're doing wrong, but you don't really care about them, and it becomes really obnoxious. Y'all know these people. Y'all have these people in your life, right? Or hopefully don't have these people in your life, but you've seen these people, right? These are the people that are going to challenge you on everything you say, obnoxiously. They're just going to challenge, but you know there's no heart there. You know they don't care about you, right? So it's obnoxious aggression. And guess what happens? When you lead that way with obnoxious aggression, where you challenge people but you don't care enough about them, what ends up happening is you get people that are defensive. This makes people defensive. Okay? Because I got no choice. If you're constantly coming at me, right, I gotta defend myself. So now I put up a shield, now I put up a wall. Now, if I've got a wall up, I'm defensive, right? Because I know you're gonna challenge me, but I don't really think you care about me, right? Then what ends up happening is there is change. We can change people this way, right? We can change people this way, but it's little change. It's little change. Right? Sometimes I'll slip up and I'll be coming at my kids this way, right? Obnoxious aggression. I'm not showing them that I care enough, but I'm coming at them with the things they're doing wrong. And they might change the behavior for a short amount of time, but they go back to it. Or they might change the behavior a little bit, but they don't really, it's not really a profound change. Does that make sense? So caring personally and challenging directly, however, creates radical candor. And radical candor, what you get out of radical candor is growth. When I care about you, and I like deeply, like for real, and I challenge you by being honest with you and telling you the truth, when I do all those things, you experience growth. That's what happens for you. You grow, right? You become a better person. And when it comes to growth, when we look at growth, guess what's underneath growth? When people are growing, we have profound change. Profound, super high level of change, right? My guess is if you've been watching this show or hanging with me, you've seen profound change in my life, right? Profound change is connected to growth. My guess is you've had profound change in your life that's connected to your growth, right? So here's the deal. If you want to be an impactful person, you want to make a positive impact in other people's lives, well, the only way to do it that's going to create profound change is through radical candor. And that's a combination of caring for people personally and challenging them directly. Does that make sense? And that's what we're going to really dive into this week. We're going to make sure that you understand how to hit these, or how to avoid 3 of these 4 quadrants, and make sure to tap into the one that ultimately is going to make the biggest impact.
Things I've been suggesting to my audiences, it's one of the rules in my book, is that you should tell the truth, or at least you shouldn't lie. It's like you can't tell the truth because what the hell do you know? But you cannot lie. You know, like each of us knows when we're about to utter something that isn't true. Now sometimes maybe you're confused about it because you're ignorant and you're biased, and so you say something and it might be true and it might not be, but you're not clear about it. But sometimes it's pretty damn clear that you say something or you do something that you know perfectly well not to be true, and you do it anyways. And the proposition that Genesis puts forward is, if you act in truth, then the order you produce is good, regardless of how it appears. It's an axiomatic statement of it's an axiomatic ethical proposition that the job of whatever extracts order from chaos is properly done if it's done in truth. And that's worth thinking about, because it might be true. And then the question is, like, well, do you believe it's true? That's a good question. It's not a religious question even, it's a practical question as far as I'm concerned. And my sense is that people just believe that this is true, deeply. And the way you can tell that is not by what they say, but by what they do. And so, for example, one of the things that you might observe is that, you know, if you love someone, your children, let's say, you don't tell them that the best way to get through the world is to lie about everything all the time. You don't sit them down and say, look, this is a corrupt enterprise, and altogether, and you can't trust anyone because they're always lying about everything. And your job is to become the best liar you possibly can become, because that's the way to get to where you need to get to and to set the world straight. No one ever does that. And so, if they don't do that, which would be belief in the lie, then they must assume something that's approximately opposite. And I would say that most people are not pleased when they catch their children in a lie. And so then you have to ask, well, why is that? It has to be because people believe that the truth is the proper way to proceed. And it isn't obvious why they believe that, but it's obvious that they act as if they do believe that.
You see, the truth, we all know and understand that the truth is the proper way to proceed. And yet we allow our stinking thinking to get in the way of telling people the truth. This week I want to explore that. This week together, my hope is to break down some of that. I know how desperately you seek to leave a legacy of positive impact, and I want to be a part of that, right? Like I want to help be a catalyst to help you become the best version of yourself that you can possibly be. Not an average version, not a little bit below average, not a little bit above, but the absolute best version of yourself that you can possibly be. Because see, I believe that you and I are children of God, the God of the universe, and that's how we were called. We were called to be the best, right? The best versions of ourselves that we could possibly be. And so as your brother, out of love, I will challenge you. I'm going to challenge you to care personally for people and challenge them directly not so that you can be obnoxious, not so that you can be manipulative, not so that you can leave people in a state of ignorance, that you can be ruinous through your empathy, but ultimately so that you can lead others to profound change through growth, and you can experience that profound change yourself.
When we're laying on our deathbed, you're not going to worry about how much money you had, how much power you had, how much prestige. You're going to see that that was all game, that was all an illusion. The only thing that's going to matter is the impact you had on other people's lives.
We are all on a separate journey. But the beautiful thing about our life here on this earth is at my funeral, they ain't gonna talk about my success. They're gonna talk about who Nick was and how Nick lived and how Nick loved and encouraged.
Success is incredibly important, but even more important than success, it's having an impact. It's knowing you haven't walked the planet in vain. It's knowing that because you've been here, you've blessed lives, you've developed people, and you have made the world a better place.
The effect you have on others is the most valuable currency there is. Everything you gain in life will rot and fall apart, and all that will be left of you is what was in your heart.
Life is a mirror, and life gives us not what we want. Life gives us who we are. When you were born, you cried while the world rejoiced. Live your life in such a way that when you die, the world cries while you rejoice.
So far away, I saw you not so long ago. Was it just yesterday? Got that old feeling that I know. In the dark of the night, I'll be alright. The sun will arise. Of messages overtaking